Hey everyone, the focus of this video is to look at properties of matter. So I have something in my mind. I've got an unknown element I have in my mind. I want you to guess what it could be. I'm going to give you some clues. So this element is a liquid. It is silver in color. It has a high luster and a high viscosity. So what do you think it could be? You're probably going through your mind like, what the heck? Liquid, has high luster. Sounds like maybe it possibly could be, and you're going through your head, mercury. That's exactly what it is. So we have to be able to describe the different compounds that we encounter in labs. We want to use proper terminology for that. So I just want to review some of the terms that we used in grade 9 and 10. So the first thing I would do is I would just talk about the physical state. That's the easiest thing. So tell me, is it a solid, a liquid, or a gas? If it's a liquid, you can tell me about the viscosity. How thick is it? So is it easy to pour? So water, or like harder to pour, like a syrup? Then we got malleability. Can you hammer something into different shapes? Really only metals can do that. And same thing with ductility. Can you pull something into a long wire? Again, usually metals. And then we can look at solubility, how well something can dissolve. So you say it's soluble, insoluble. And then also you have conductivity. How well can something conduct? Now we do have some other properties as well. So we can have texture. If you can touch the substance, you can tell me if it's smooth or rough. The form, this is the shape of small pieces of the material. Is it crystals? Is there powder? Or is it irregular? Regular just means lumpy, or it's not a common consistent pattern for the shape. We also have clarity, how easily light passes through something. Don't use the word clear. You should be using the word transparent. If you can see through easily. If it's kind of cloudy, it's translucent. You can't see through a substance. It's called opaque. And finally, you got your luster, high or low luster. So these are the common ones. And again, you want to use these terms in your descriptors when you're describing substances and making observations. Now, not all of these apply to each state. So for example, viscosity would really only apply to liquids. Malleability would be solid. Same with ductility. Solubility would be how well can solid, or it could be liquid as well, or even, believe it or not, gases. Gases can dissolve. Think of carbon dioxide in pop. Conductivity, usually we look at solids, but you can also look at solutions, and that's what we're going to be doing in this unit. Texture is the feel, so usually it's a solid. Form is a solid again. Clarity could be all three of these. How clear or transparent is something? And finally, luster is usually only solids, but could be for liquids if you're looking at mercury, for example. So just be careful again. For clarity, do not use words like clear. All right, and there's one we don't have on the list here. You can maybe even talk about the color of a substance. That gives you a lot of information. So these are the common ones that we encounter. Online, you're going to see videos of viscosity. Okay, there's going to be some melting point videos as well, high and low melting point, solubility, and conductivity. These are the these are the I guess the properties that you have to be able to describe when you are doing your lab later in this particular unit. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I want you to look at these 6 substances, and I would like you to come up with a list of properties. How would you describe each of these using proper terminologies? And I want you to pause the video. I want you to compare your answers to some of the suggestions that I have on my list. Again, pause the video, do it yourself. So just some thinking. Again, try to use appropriate scientific terms. Okay, now that you've done your descriptions, compare them to what I have here. So what I always do is I always look at the state. So I write down the solid, 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 liquid, solid, solid. I'll look at the color. For example, I got a white color. This is silver. This one is a copper color. Here we got white. This is black, and finally yellow over here. And then I bring in more detail. So here, this substance is opaque. You cannot see through it. It has an irregular shape as well. This substance is opaque. It's irregular. You might even write down it has a high luster. Okay, now don't use the word shiny. Maybe high lustrance would be a low luster. So not very shiny at all. And same thing here, we'd have a high luster. And for these, I can write down words like ductile. This is a wire. You can pull it into a wire. This is aluminum. If we hammer it into a sheet, so it's malleable. Here I've got a translucent crystal. Um, and over here, we've got a powder. It's very, very, very fine powder. You can see along the edges here. and it's opaque. You can't see through that. And here we've got transparent liquid, and the transparent you can tell because you can see through it easily. And if you look at the video, it also has a high viscosity. So you should aim for about 4 different pieces of information when you're making your observations. And I only apply the ones that are applicable. For example, you wouldn't talk about viscosity when it comes to solids, right? Or texture if it comes to liquids. And that's it. So be ready for the lab later on, be able to make proper observations. And that's the goal for this exercise. Bye.